Good evening, welcome. Episode 22. We're about to put this one in the books for good. We kicked ass last week on our picks. I've got JD Liles here. He's my man here, longest friend that I have in this world. Mike Pearson, the next longest friend I have in this world. Right, look at it. The tip of the cap, ladies and gentlemen. The Vietnamese rice farmer is in the house. He's got to wear that because his picks were so bad last week, JD, that he's got that on.
He got one game, I think.
Hey, what about his get-up this week? I mean, nothing says I'm ready to pick ball games like this attire he has on. So, we are back, episode 22. So, we want to start this off with a new segment that we have called Instant Replay. So our instant replay this week are all the games that me, Mike, and JD picked. And to say they were stellar would be an understatement. So, hello, Mike. Let's roll with this. Okay. JD, tell us where we were right, where we were wrong, where we were indifferent, and then we'll go to our next segment.
Okay, so start off with NC State and Clemson. It was minus 18.5 Clemson. I think everybody pretty much picked Clemson in the over, so we got that one right. The second one on the list here is your Gators. Just took Mississippi State behind the woodshed.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Well, who picked them on the over?
You did a good job,
okay.
JD, you did a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
When I get in the end zone, when me and Mike get in the end zone, we don't have to spike the ball. We've been there before. So you got one right, you know?
Act like you've been there, JD.
Yeah, act like you've been there, like the old ball coach used to say.
So, next one, USC and Michigan. It was minus 5 for Michigan. Mike actually picked Michigan.
Good job, Mike.
Over under 43.5. He picked the under, which I think it was a 44-point game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was close, half-point difference there.
Good
Me, Chance both picked USC in the under. We lost, so Mike got that one.
I like how you go very, very shallow with your tone when we're wrong like that.
Well, I mean,
you're wrong. Yeah, it's just. Let's be excited for Mike.
Mistake.
He got one right. It doesn't happen very often.
All right, so the next one we're going to go to is Georgia Tech Louisville.
I nailed that.
Y'all both picked Louisville.
I nailed that one. The Fighting Art Carmody.
Yeah, 10.5, minus 10.5 for Louisville.
Yeah, they look good. I like.
So they did look good. So y'all got that one right. Auburn, Arkansas.
Let's go ahead and talk about that.
So Mike picked Auburn
at Jordan Hare.
Yeah. Mikey, you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, if we could get some quarterback play, we probably would have.
I mean, you sound like Hugh Freeze. I mean, who else you want to roll under the bus, Coach?
That's why I was going with that. I was trying to do my best, Hugh Freeze. And,
when you look like that, you can have any correspondence you want.
I'm telling you.
You know, just like you said, we play that game 9 more times, and we probably win them all.
Here we go. That is, golly, Mike.
I mean, we can't find QBs in Singapore. I mean, recruiting over there. All right, next game. Oklahoma State and Utah.
This one held me up, I think.
Oklahoma State was favored 2.5, and Utah handled business. I think we all lost that game.
Yeah. Kyle Whittingham, he's in the running for Coach of the Year every year. I have been his biggest fan when he was a DC for Urban up there. Like I can't say enough good things about him and that the longevity of that program, which is not a program that's on the forefront of anything in the past. And he's just been a steady. I mean, since that Sugar Bowl that year when he waxed Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, I mean. He's
but how do you not love a good Mike Gundy press conference? I mean, come on.
Oh,
that's great.
Kudos to that. I'm a Mike Gundy fan.
He had a shabby restaurant or a reference a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that.
Yeah. If you don't like Mike Gundy, you need to check your hold card.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
because he's gold. And hey, Mike, that's another name I've heard kicked around. If something happened at Florida, I don't want him at Florida. However, I think he would be good no matter what. But there's no need in even chasing that rabbit. But
no, I've got inside info that said he wouldn't leave.
That and he should not. They've been good to him. They've been good to him. He's been good for them. don't ever lifetime contract. Let him when he's ready to go. Let him go.
Is he the longest tenured coach in FBS right now?
He's probably close to. He's in the top 3 probably.
So him and Whittingham have to be right up there.
Yeah.
So,
well, him and Kirk Ferentz up at
Ferentz at Iowa.
Yeah, that's another good call there. Going
I thought
Midwest.
Ferentz retired. I guess I'm wrong. I don't know.
Not yet.
No, they fired his son, so we got.
He got a good offense
You
now.
couldn't get him out of there with a big stick.
All right, so let's go to the next one. We all got wrong. SEC game in Columbia. I don't think anybody in the country predicted Vandy to take Mizzou to overtime.
No, and I'll take that every week being wrong on Vandy. Because you just got to expect that they're going to wet the bed.
And I personally, I feel like Vandy should have won the game. I mean,
absolutely
at the end of the game, they had plenty of opportunities, and a couple
they don't
penalties
know how
backed
to
them
win,
up,
and why
and it just
would they?
yeah.
You know,
then they missed a field goal to take it to second overtime.
Right.
Oh, so you guys can put your 2 cents in on Vandy, but the minute I start talking about Auburn and the QBs, I'm just, being a whiny baby. I see how it is. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's a game a little more on the forefront there, Pearson.
I mean, we're not talking about the players here, Coach.
Are you kidding me?
No, we're talking about programs. And that program has never won anything. So,
let's go next one. Tennessee, OU. Tennessee,
nailed that.
7.5.
Nailed that.
Favorite. So,
y'all
both pick Tennessee.
I'm gonna tell you, our executive producer's over here dancing like I don't know what. But
she was probably all giddy when they did the whole walkout crap. Next night.
Oh, without a doubt, yes. She was doing the Vol walk all the way back home, no doubt. So that game, that showed me a lot about Tennessee's defense. They have a high-powered offense. Now, Oklahoma's defense played pretty well, kept them in check. I don't even know why I would say this, but I hope Florida's defensive coaches were watching a little bit of how to maintain that Tennessee offense.
Yeah, but did y'all see the clip of Heupel going up to Nico after the game and whispering in his ear about, hey, we called the dogs off in the end?
No.
No, I
didn't see that.
Look it up. He's whispering in his ear, basically kind of saying, hey.
I don't want to embarrass them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I look, I've not been a big fan of Heupel over the years, but I tell you, he's growing on me, and I hate it because I dislike Tennessee strongly.
Yeah.
Just because of what we are. I mean, we dominated Florida, but I dislike Tennessee, but I like Heupel. Hey, and let me tell you another thing about them that I see, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong or try to. I'm not going to do it because I'm always right, but Danny White, can't see. Danny White, the athletic director, in bringing Heupel in from UCF, they were both at UCF. The job Danny White has done there has been second to none, I think. What do y'all think?
He's certainly gotten them back to not just being relevant, but being, in the mix. And then now, especially this year, with the expanded playoff, I think they're going to be something that people aren't going to want to see, especially if that QB keeps maturing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I like probably the most about Tennessee's offense is the balance of run in there with the pass.
Yeah.
They balance this thing out very well with tempo. I like the way they run the football. It is shades of the 90s, the way Spurrier could run the draws and hit you with it and keep everything balanced. Everybody wanted to talk about the pass, but there was so much run in there that it balanced it out, and that's the way I feel watching Tennessee's offense.
I don't know if you saw Nick Saban's breakdown of some of the plays that they run on game day Saturday morning, and he just broke it down like nobody else can. And he talked a lot about how they use the whole 52 yards of the field side to side. I mean, they have some of their wide receivers will be 2 or 3 yards off the out of bounds line, and then they just spread you out, and it makes the safety spread out. It makes everybody spread out. The linebackers have to cover in space. And, everybody's not bunched in, and he just explained a lot about how hard it is to to cover on the whole length of the field and the whole width of the field.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Especially with a dynamic runner. That's the true. You got to guard 11 guys now. So
that exactly.
That guy that spread it out. That's tough.
Yeah. Well, it's truly 11 on 11 with, and you've got to account for that quarterback. So
yeah,
it's difficult. Well, we obviously nailed that game. But I tell you what, OU's defense did surprise me. Like I said, Venables. There's nothing wrong with Venables. I would prefer him to be over there on a headset calling defensive plays rather than being the head coach. And their offense they don't really have an identity. They don't really have a true quarterback, a leader, I don't think. So that's going to be
that Haskins kid, he kind of impressed me because he came in and didn't seem like he was overwhelmed. So
that's
maybe
true.
Maybe they have some. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, hey, they're in the SEC now, and the nut cutting's coming up. It comes down to who's holding the knife and who's got the jewels at this point.
Yeah.
So. Next game, JD?
One of the games on my list I don't think we picked last weekend, at least I didn't write it down, was Baylor, Colorado.
Right.
Colorado won on the Hail Mary. We did, we didn't talk about that. I saw a tweet today where people were talking about, Shedeur Sanders is just as popular as Johnny Football was in college. I'm like, come on, man. Like, that dude took over the world when he was at A&M, and I just don't think – I don't see that. I think they're – Colorado's the new kid on the block basically right now. I mean, they're shiny. But they've still got a lot of dull to them, too. Right. And, I don't know what y'all think about that, but
I would say Johnny Football was kind of an organic, kind of taking over the where Shedeur is a manufactured hype machine.
So
100%.
So Manziel, yeah, you're right. Manziel was that diamond that you find in there in the Ozarks. So you dig and dig and dig, you find an amazing diamond. And Shedeur is something manufactured in the lab.
Yeah.
That's a shame. That's the best analogy I get.
Well, you saw where they asked the Colorado band not to play the fight song after he throws a touchdown, but so they wanted to play his rap song in the whole stadium. That's just ridiculous.
Well,
I get trying to push somebody and all that, but some of that's just kind of like, come on, man, we're still playing college football.
Yeah.
So.
But I do think his teammate is the best player.
Me too.
No doubt. Travis Hunter's elite.
He's on our Jim Thorpe, or he's on our Paycom Jim Thorpe award list, and he, trust me, he's climbing up the ranks every week. The kid is the real deal. Plus, with our Paycom Jim Thorpe award, it is a character award too, and he is a good kid. I don't care what anybody says. So that I admire him a lot. And Travis, if you're listening, which we know you're a subscriber, we hope you're listening tonight. You can join the show anytime and get picked on by me, Mike, and John David.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Next game, JD.
Last one, UCLA LSU, 24.5. They didn't cover. So y'all both picked them to cover.
Yeah, we did. So I had a good friend of mine here locally that hit me up in the office and was like, hey, I took UCLA, and I said, I really feel like LSU's going to cover at home. Nelsmeyer, I just feel it. And he was like, all right, so he changed his bet. So what did I have to hear all evening Saturday? And then he woke me up Sunday morning at 4 o'clock, and he said, thanks a lot for that pick. And so, I was like, wow, we don't harbor any ill will, I don't guess. So anyway, I had to pay him his money back this week, and that cost me. But
so we've got Chance at 6-3 and Mike at 4-5 for the week.
I got myself at 5-5, and I also want to throw in there a real quick little sidebar. On the notes that I was sent over, Chance had also somehow snuck in I think it's the Louisiana Lafayette versus Mary's sister for the deaf and blind kind of scored in there, so I'm disputing the 6-3 record from our fearless leader.
Here we go.
I don't know how the math works in Florida, but 6-3 is 9 and 4-5 is 9. So I don't know how you got 5-5.
Hey, you state school guys.
Thank you, JD. Thank you, JD. I appreciate it.
I'm just saying.
Leave the state school.
All right.
Let the big boys handle this. We are top 5.
Hey, no, we are the number 1 public university in the in the nation.
That's right.
So, kudos to Florida.
Go cure cancer.
Yeah, start a Fortune 500 company. All right, so that is our instant replay. But we're under the hood here looking at that. So, as a referee would come out and go, upon further review, the play the play stands as called. So, upon further review, Mike and JD, what games, if y'all could do it over again, what game would you go the opposite way on?
Well, certainly the Arkansas Auburn.
Yeah, you should.
I got caught up in my feelings on that one, and I love the Jordan Hare. I just think it's a great venue.
Agreed. I told you not to get wrapped up in that, though, and you just didn't listen.
I'm trying to think the other one I would have. What was one of the other 4 that I lost, JD?
Well, I tell you, yeah, go ahead, JD.
Let's see. Missouri and Vandy, of course. LSU, UCLA, Mississippi State, Florida. Which y'all picked Florida to win, but
I don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, I did not expect that offensive output from all of this. So those would be the other 2 I'd change.
Yeah, I'll never feel bad about a Florida win, so no matter what it is. But, JD, what's your game you would go back on?
Man, it's hard to say. I mean, to me, I would probably go Utah Oklahoma State game because I picked Oklahoma State at as a 2.5-point favorite, and knowing like you said earlier about Kyle Whittingham and just like how solid those guys are. They're never really flashy. They're always good. They're not ever great, but they're tough.
That's right.
And so that's what's
well-rounded.
And
team.
I mean, how many years has Cam Rising been in Utah? I mean,
he's been there a decade.
Is he as old as Peyton Manning? I mean, his forehead's getting long. He's been there so long.
The kid's got a good rack of hair, though. I can tell you that. Mine that I would look under the hood and change the call on is the LSU game. I believe.
Of course, you got called out on it.
Well, duh. Well, why wouldn't I? So, but it's the whole thing. Like, I really thought the defense would play a little bit better at home with UCLA and hold them to a fewer points, and the offense would basically do what they did. They're going to score points and they're going to put up yards. So if I could do it over again, I would pick UCLA, but that's the only thing. I mean, my gosh, I'm so good at picking this stuff. I mean, and Mike's so bad. I mean,
here we go. Look, you got the big bet on the line. You big talking, swinging, what? Put that big bling bling.
Yeah, I'll do it. The Audemars will go up.
Yeah.
The Audemars spaghetti will go up. That's no big deal.
So a couple of other things let's talk about, before I think we go into our picks for the week. One of the things you had mentioned you wanted to talk about was not necessarily college football related, was Brett Favre announcing that he got diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Right.
Which is, it's not easy for anyone.
I want to talk to a former top level collegiate tackle, as well as a high performing NFL player in Mike, who played. I mean, you're getting your head and bell rung every play, just about. And Mike, tell us a little bit about that, and then the concerns you have. And thank goodness you guys are vested after so many games and so long in the league, to where the health care and stuff, and maybe it's not up to par where it needs to be. I don't know. Maybe you can shed some light on that, because that's something as a fan and as somebody that's a friend also, like I like to know about the inner workings of things like that, more than just on the field, but off the field too. So if you can kind of shed some light on that, and then what is the reluctance and concerns that you guys have as veterans and as retired players?
Yeah, it was definitely I would say shocking and eye-opening when he made that statement.
Right.
Mainly because of growing up as a kid. I mean, he was kind of that warrior quarterback that we all just love to watch, and kind of just put his soul and heart and body on the line every single play.
Right.
So I think if there's a good thing that's going to come out of this is he will have a lot of support.
Yeah. For sure.
From many people and from research and, all those type of things. So if there was a person that could kind of carry the flag, I think Favre is probably one of our best to do it as a former, I guess, colleague, if you will, and player.
Right.
For me personally, I've had, I would say, probably close to 10 concussions, and really the main one was not even football related. I had a really bad car accident right before the season, my sophomore year, and had a skull fracture. And since all that's happened, I've had some scans and things that had my wife and I a little concerned. So from that standpoint, you kind of keep an eye out for it and try to do the things that the physicians and people recommend. And then to your point, I think the NFL is improving on that post-career care. I think where the people, and I saw it firsthand, unfortunately, are some of these old warriors like John Reeves, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And I got to know John not only through, he recruited me in high school, and he was in South Carolina, believe it or not, as their quarterbacks coach. But then I got to know him later in life because he's a Tampa native like myself. And that, he had some tough health problems, and really, I think, had he had some opportunities to have better care, he could have been with us longer. But that's just how those things sometimes happen with timing, if you will. So, long story short, I hate it for Brett, but and I don't know him personally, but I will say that if there is a silver lining in some things that are unfortunate, it's the fact that he will help all of us with research, with funding, with shedding more light on it, and really helping kind of the future generations.
Yeah, for real. That's good stuff, and it's so good to hear the inside of somebody that's played and you've also played against Favre in Green Bay and everything when he was there, and so we've all seen him, like you said, a warrior, and then you having played, and I believe that car accident cost you your sense of smell, didn't it?
It did. So it's one of those, you kind of chuckle now, but
yeah.
It's scary when it happened.
Heck yeah.
And like Coach Bird would say, the good Lord was looking out for me because turning my head one way or the other, might not have been on Jumpin Offsides as you fellas in my tuxedo T-shirt. Right?
Exactly. We'd be missing a real treat. All right.
No doubt.
All right. Enough of that. So,
big news of the day.
Yes.
Big news of the day.
Name, image, and likeness. Whether you like it, love it, or hate it, it is here, and we are dealing with it. And personally, I'm gonna move over and once we start talking about this to something that's close to home for Mike and I with the NIL. But Janie, tell us about that with UNLV today. The news that we heard.
So basically, their starting quarterback Matthew Sluka, 3-0 as a starter, transferred in from Holy Cross in the off season. He's a senior. He's never redshirted, playing really well. Decided 3 games into the season that he's going to forego the rest of the season and redshirt and enter the transfer portal. He came out and basically said that the commitments that he was promised at UNLV when he signed have not been met, and hence why he's leaving. There's also been people from the UNLV side that have came out and said that's not true. We honored every commitment we told him we were going to meet, and so it's kind of at this point a he said she said. But we also know that he hired an agent a few weeks ago, and between him and his family, they decided that they weren't getting treated according to how they thought they were when they signed. Now, with that said, we're dealing with a guy that's, a fifth-year senior that's now going to redshirt, that'll be in his 6th year next year, basically trying to to hit the lottery again and go to another school.
And strong arm at this
Yes.
point, and that's bullshit.
To me, it's not fair to the to the UNLV players that have played all season. That have won. They're 3-0. They're in it, and then you have this problem. So,
Mike,
listen, you get what you ask for, and
yeah.
I would be on the flip side of what you said. JD is good for that kid, and strike while the iron's hot. And I'm telling you guys right now, you wait for one of these suckers to do it right when that team or multiple teams are going into the college football playoffs.
Right.
They start saying, hey,
Uh-huh.
I want more.
Because
if you don't pay me,
yeah.
I'll sit out because I'm going to go to the NFL. It's here to stay, guys. And until college football playoffs or whoever, I don't even know who's in charge anymore.
No, that's right.
Whoever's in charge.
The adults have left the room.
Their hands and arms around this ain't going away. And
No.
I'm being honest. Good for that kid.
Okay.
Because you guys know for a fact, these coaches and the administrators and the schools are making money hand over fist.
Right.
So I'm just telling you now, I don't like it, but I think that kid is doing a pretty smart thing.
Well, let me flip this over. And not that we know anything or not, but Eugene Wilson's basically doing the same thing from the reports I'm getting at Florida. It's not about a holdout for money or anything, but it's basically the same thing. And this is what I'll touch on to with the NIL once I make this statement. But I'm hearing that he's not really hurt. Maybe he had a little issue a week or so ago and sat out. But now he's basically given up on the season and he's just done. Now I have a real problem with that. But here's what I would do from an administrative standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, from an agent standpoint, and an AD standpoint. When I have a kid like Wilson, what's his name at UNLV? Sluka. I have kids like that. Hey, you coming in. This goes for every one of them. We're signing contracts, and here's the way this contract's going to read. We're going to give you X from donor XYZ. They're going to meet payroll during the season. You're going to get the 6 months of $50,000 a month, $1 million up front. However you want to do that, that's fine. But here's where the fine print is, and here's where I'm going to hang your nuts to the wall. Because this is about winning ball games, and this is about play. You're going to play every game unless team doctor says that plantar fasciitis has flared up and you can't play. The team doctor is going to sign off on it. You're not going to pay him. The doctor's going to say that. You're going to play, and guess what? You're going to give me 3 years here, or you're going to give me at least 1 year, 2 years, whatever your contract is. Because if we want to be big boys and we want to be in this game and get paid, we're going to act like it. And you're going to do what this contract states. So you're going to play in every game. That includes postseason, unless there's an injury or an unforeseen circumstance, like a force majeure, basically. An act of God for those that don't know. I'm just saying that's the only way you're going to do this. Pisses me off to no end with all this because you made a commitment when you came out for ball. When you came to that school, you made a commitment. You play, and unless there is an injury or a real reason you can't, you're playing, and you're going to give it to me, or you're not getting paid. And guess what? Carry your ass. Get out of here. But you're not going to get paid.
Then you run into the problem, too, of, they're not putting all the effort forward. And, I mean, that's one of the things we've talked about in the past is, like, not everybody's pulling in the same direction. I mean, if you're going to talk about Wilson, I think he's a great player. But, if he takes a player or two off, and 2 or 3 players out of the 11 take a player or two off, and you're not all pulling together. There's not that full on, everybody going in the same direction, and that goes back to I'm not going to get hurt. I'm going to get paid when I go to the NFL.
Yeah.
And so how do we mitigate all of that? Contracts are great, but that's still not going to make a player play half-assed.
Well, that's where you're coaching. Well, that you do run into the problem because if you've got Booster X who's got number 3 that you're paying and that's your commitment and the payroll to pay that. That booster's going to be pissed off when that coach says, well, player 3 is going to have his little ass right over here with me because he's not putting out. And you want to put out, you're going to go back in. So that there again, you've got to have a stipulation that you don't play, you don't get paid. End of story. Like if you're not good enough to be on the field, we're going to cut you X by a third, whatever. So that's more incentive. You play your tail off. I mean, I don't know.
How do you feel, Mike?
So I'll give you some, not too much, and I don't want to act like I have no time.
No, I get it.
But to your point, and you probably know this, Chance, so Florida Victorious does do contracts, and they typically do 6-month contracts to avoid kind of this stuff you're talking about. So back to the UNLV kid, the reason I say good for him is obviously their collective, their NIL crew, doesn't have their act together, which a lot of them don't.
Yeah, sure.
So that's the only reason why I'm saying kudos to him for hitting this lever, because somebody somewhere dropped the ball on all that. But what I will say is you got to go back to, and not to try to play the attorney, devil's advocate role here, but Chance, you were talking about performance.
Yeah.
What does NIL stand for?
Name, image, likeness.
Where in that 3 letters does it say performance?
You're right.
So all I'm saying is that is the whole, I think the whole rub with all this is nobody has really sat down and thought this thing through, because I guess it's 3 years ago now, right? When the law went into effect.
Right.
It was, in my opinion, it was the NCAA, how they always are, kind of saying, well, this will go away, this won't happen. And when it hit, everybody's scrambling, trying to figure out, well, what do we do now?
Right.
So until, and again, more hearsay and just kind of locker room talk, until Nick Saban becomes the commissioner of college football, and every school gets on a salary cap, and you see more and more teams are hiring these ex-NFL player personnel to be their GM because they got to run a cap. You're going to continue to see this kind of stuff that is just driving all of us traditional college football fans up the wall.
Correct.
That's a very good point. Well, until that goes, we have to just be pissed off.
Yeah, they don't have the real. I don't think they're. And again, we talked about last week. The college football that we've known and loved for say the last 30, 40 years, that's gone.
It is. It is, adios.
Well, and you look at it, too, like this. I mean, if the NCAA would have allowed players to generate money from signing autographs and not getting put on probation and the whole school put on probation for years, maybe they could have stepped into this a little bit, like Mike was talking about, and not just went full bore all the way. You know,
right.
I mean, you've seen Manziel's documentary where he talks about having to, go kind of under the radar and have somebody get paid that was in his family to sign autographs just so he can live. As a college kid. And Reggie Bush, prime example.
I was just going to say, you don't think the NCAA is scratching their heads now saying, man, we probably made a mistake with that kid.
Yes, and then
he's fixing to bring a whirlwind with him on that ball.
And you talk about a can of worms. Once
this
opens,
what happens?
There's no telling where it goes.
If he wins that settlement, here we go. Well, it's a class action suit, then you're going to get $32.22. Just like you did on EA Sports.
Rex Grossman,
yes.
See, like these guys better jump in line and go, us too. Because when I was at school, there was a lot of number 8 jerseys with no name.
Hey, I had one. one, Billy Ray. I sure did.
Same with Danny. Same with Tebow. I mean, it's on and on and on. And like JD just hit the nail on the head. They never wanted to get ahead of this thing. And I heard from an agent now. He said that there's a push now to try to make these guys and girls and these athletes employees. So now you really have control of them.
No, that's right. You become an
at-will employee, basically. But then again, you've got states that aren't at-will states. So, I mean, then you've got player unions, and there's so many different things. It's just this whole thing is kind of spiraled out of control.
I need a ticket to your shit show is what I need. Because that's where we're headed. All right, enough of that. Y'all brought me down 27 notches.
I'm good. Let's go to our picks.
All right, parlay for perfection time. Mikey, JD, we have our picks. First game, Virginia Tech and at Miami at the old Hard Block Stadium down there. Who do we have? We got the Canes favored 18.5. Brock loves that. Over under 55.5.
Give me the Canes and give me the over. I think Cam Ward is going to have some of those Heisman highlight type of plays, and he's ready to roll.
Mike, I went with you on that. No, I didn't. I went Vatech plus 18.5, and I also took the under. Believe it or not, the under.
All right.
JD, you like Miami to win, Virginia Tech to cover, and the under.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. So that's the way we went on that. JD, who do you like? Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Kansas State's favored 4.5 at Billy Ray Snyder Stadium. In Kansas,
I wrote it down. I don't want to say something different than I wrote down.
All right, you took Oklahoma State and the over.
Yes, I think that Kansas State's to me they're always they're going to play well against their conference teams, and they slip up on people, and they always play good in Manhattan, always.
But you take Oklahoma State.
I'm taking OK State because I think that last week Utah kind of showed up and knocked the air out of them, and I think Gundy has his guys ready this week.
Mikey?
I'm on the exact same boat. I think Gundy gets his running back going. He's kind of been a little off at the beginning of the year, so I think they're going to get the over and get back on track.
Ollie Gordon, well, I can tell you both this. Y'all are both wrong, and I'm questioning your ability to pick football games. Kansas State minus 4.5 and the unders, which way I'm going in the Little Apple.
Okay.
All right, next game, Northern Illinois and North Carolina State. Now, Northern Illinois knocked off Notre Dame earlier in the year, correct?
Week 2.
Week 2. All right, so the Wolfpack are favored 6.5. We watched them against Tech. Not that impressed with them, right? 46.5 over under. I'm taking Northern Illinois plus 6.5 to beat the spread and the over in that game.
I'm taking Northern Illinois to plus 6.5, but the under.
Okay, you're wrong too. JD, you like Northern Illinois and the over, so you're a smart man.
Yes, sir.
Very smart man there.
Let's
Mike's
go.
going to be sucking hind tit on that one.
Salukis.
All right, here's the next one. The Fighting Art Carmodys versus the Joe Theismanns. Louisville at Notre Dame, 47.5 over under, and the Irish are favored 6.5, so a touchdown, a tutter. I picked Louisville plus 6.5 and the over. Mikey?
Exact same.
Of course you did. JD picked Notre Dame to win, Louisville to cover, and the under. Questioning his abilities to pick games at this point, but
just wait.
We'll see.
Just wait.
We'll see. We've got it on paper. We got a paper trail right now.
7-2 last week.
Paper trail right now.
9. I'm not going to say 7-3. We picked 9 games.
Yeah, that's right. Give me nuts. All right, Colorado at UCF. So this is in Orlando. Mike, you know a little something about this. Now this over/under is a pile of points, 63.5. And UCF, the number 1 rushing team in America, is favored 15.5. JD likes UCF to win, Colorado to cover, and the under. Mike, who do you like?
I like UCF to win. I like Colorado covering, and I like the over.
Okay. I like Colorado at plus 15.5 and the under is who I like. Next game, Stanford at Clemson. So they're going into Little Death Valley over there, the not-so-Death Valley. Over under 57.5, and Clem Dog is favored 21.5. JD likes Clemson to win, Stanford to cover, and the under. Mike, who do you like?
I like Clemson all the way through.
There you go.
Over and the over.
Okay, I like Stanford at plus 21.5 and the under at 57.5. All right, here's one right here. The Criminals of Tallahassee Junior College are traveling over here to Dallas, just over here west of us. Over to Dallas to Pony Express, 47.5 over under. 5.5 point favorites go to the Southern Methodist University Mustangs. Mike, tell me what you like.
I'm going to take SMU in the points, and I'm going to take the under.
All right, I'm taking SMU in the points and the over. Let me tell you what JD likes. He likes the Ponies to win and the Criminals to cover and the under.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's go. The
All
Fighting
right.
John Wesley.
All right, we're going to take this. Son of the Bulldogs, TCU at Kansas. Lance Leopold and the Kansas Jayhawks, 59.5. No defense expected in this one. 1.5 point favorite to the Jayhawks, JD. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. And you like TCU and the over.
Yes.
What makes you like Sonny Bulldogs like that?
I just can't get on board with Kansas. I'm sorry.
Really?
I can't. I mean, I know that Kansas is a lot better. They've turned it around. I just can't get on board with Kansas right now.
Mr. Pearson, heavy on the Mr.
I'm with JD on this one.
Okay. I'm taking Kansas and the 1.5 points and the under. I just don't think they're going to get there. I like Leopold. I think is going to kind of hold the ball. Going to play a little four corners like basketball right here and stall the clock a little bit.
Over or under, Mike?
I'm going to take the over.
Okay. All right. Now last week we had him. Oh, he was gushing over Jordan Hare over there.
Oh yeah.
In Opelika.
He's ready to fly the eagle around the stadium.
That's right.
Is it Tigers or War Eagle? Have they figured that out
They
yet?
still don't know. They're still confused, and they don't know whether they're in hell or freezing with Hugh Freeze. So let's go. Boomer Sooner versus the War Eagle of Auburn. The fighting
Wagoneers. What are you looking at?
Yeah. 45.5 over under 2.5 is what the Sooners are favored. Which way we're going to go, what you going to do, JD? You like Auburn and the over.
I do.
Auburn and the over.
I think Hugh Freeze is going to get one figured out. And I mean, I think OU.
He's got to win one at home.
This will be OU's first road game in the SEC. I have no doubt Venables will have them ready to play. I think they'll play good. But, you know, the type of defenses that Venables runs, that's Hugh Freeze's field day. I mean, he did it against Saban. He's done it. You know, he has an ability to spread the field. And like we talked about earlier, is get the players and get the guys in space.
I like Auburn in the under.
That's exactly what I like too, Mike. Auburn 2.5 in the under.
Oh,
Executive producer likes the way we talk too, because she said the Sooners still suck. So reading that on the teleprompter right now. All right, so it's Auburn 2.5 and under for me. JD took Auburn in the over, and Mike took Auburn in the under. Correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Mike, I still can't take you seriously with that outfit you got on.
Hey, I'm dressed up tonight, boys. Hey, plus this is my bye week, so
Yeah, we can't lose this week.
That's right.
Can't lose.
We cannot lose. All right, here's one that we got, JD. JD's notes here. Arkansas Rays with the Fighting Jerry Jones are going to Texas 8-4 here. So
In Arlington.
It is in Arlington, in Jerry's World, 51.5 over the points. And Vegas likes 3.5 to the Aggies. Mike W. Pearson, who do you like?
I'm taking Texas A&M. I'm going to take their cover and the over.
Okay, you're A&M in the over. John David likes Arkansas in the over, and I couldn't agree with him more. Arkansas in the over is where I'm going to. So we'll take the 3.5 plus 3.5 and the over, and we're going to write that one on a rock and throw it through the pay window, JD.
Yeah, that'll be tied into your foot when you're sinking to the bottom of the.
Yeah, Mike, you're going to be tied to your male cheerleaders.
Yeah.
All right, the Kentucky Blue over there at Hotty Toddy.
Big game.
Big game here to not be so big. All right, Kentucky at Ole Miss, 52.5, and they like the running Reb, 17.5-point favorite. I like Lane Kiffin to step on the gas and the throats, minus 17.5, and the under. Believe it or not, the under. JD likes Ole Miss, Kentucky to cover, and the over. So he's all over the board there. Mike, what about you?
I like Ole Miss, Kentucky to cover, and the under.
Thank you.
And this might be our boy Lane Kiffin's resume builder.
Yeah, you might be right with that. All right, so those Parlay for Perfection picks were brought to you by the Baldwin Insurance Group. They have your blind side. They are protecting you at all times, and they have one of the greatest insurance agents there is. And he's right over my right shoulder. He's protected a lot of blindside in his day. Give him a shot for your insurance. That's the Baldwin Group. Look them up. You can find Mike on LinkedIn and the Baldwin Group and all their things. Also, Bass Energy Services bringing that to us. JD Liles. See them, Energy Services, Flowback. They have it all. JD can give you anything you need, oil field. I promise you that. So those are the Parlay for Perfection picks. But wait a minute, we do have one more, the big game.
Game of the week.
The big game coming up. This is brought to you by Rotag, and this is the No Shit Pick of the Week right here. Rotag Portable Toilet Services, the No Shit Pick of the Week. Georgia going to T-Town. Alabama, 48.5 points is what they're expecting on the over-under. Now, the Dogs are favored 2.5 in this game, and let me tell you a little fact right here. Everybody probably knows it, but this is the first time Alabama has been a dog at home since 2007, which would be Nikki's first year. So, John David, tell me who you like and why.
Man, Georgia didn't impress me a lot last week. I mean, I know Alabama hasn't been tested, but I think that they seem like they're on the right track. They went to Wisconsin. They handled business. I'm going to take Alabama to win the game, and I'm going to take the over. I think that, 48.5, I mean, that's basically a 24-24 game. I think it's going to be more of a 28-24 game. So I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take Alabama to win.
All right, Bama in the win and the over. Mikey?
Well, I saw a stat, I think I remember correctly, that Kirby has had 4 losses in the regular season in the last 5 years. And we can take a wild guess of who 4 of those losses have come from, all from the Alabama Crimson Tide. So regardless of Nick Saban
Not one
being on the pregame shows, I'm still taking Alabama. I like the Dogs to cover, and I want the under.
Okay. JD, did you get that marked down?
I do.
All right. I am throwing this one through the pay window when I write this one on a rock. I am taking UGA minus 2.5, and I'm going balls to the wall with the over. We're going over all the way. And you can write that on a rock and throw it through the pay window. You understand?
And if Alabama wins, Chance has got to get a red Solo cup and go out to one of the sites.
Break the Tallahassee curse?
Yeah.
Take it out of one of the portable toilets.
That's right.
All right. If Bama wins.
That's right.
I don't want to do that because I'm not going to curse anything else. But
I won't make you do it.
Let's make another friendly wager though, of something that can happen if Bama wins.
We'll think of something. Maybe you might have to wear an actual tuxedo next week.
I'll come full suit next week if they win.
And I want the
Full suit.
ruffles in the front.
Yes.
Dumber.
There's something about Mary all the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show right there. Parlay for Perfection, Jumpin Offsides. Look us up. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Any way you get your stuff, look us up on Jumpin Offsides. It's an official page. You can find us there. We will be putting out clips from this show. Check it out. Like, subscribe, smash that bastard. We got to have some likes and subscriptions here. Keep us going here. Want to also thank the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award and the Executive Council for being a big part of this show. We thank them for that, and all of you for watching. Come on back out next week. We'll have Bo Harris, former LSU Tiger and Cincinnati Bengal, on the show. We'd love for you to meet him and listen to what he has to say. That's a wrap. As always, strive for perfection and what, JD? Okay, settle for excellence. How about that? All right, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen.